Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Conversations.
Oh, you're
It's
good.
okay.
You're good.
I am Kelsey, EBAR from both with Lukey Partners Keller Williams.
I'm Rusty, Mortgages by Rusty.
And we are at Brew 5 Points today.
Yeah, Brew 5 Points.
Yeah. If you're familiar with like the Riverside 5 Points area, this is on the main strip on Park Street.
Yep.
We're across from Hoptinger.
Hawkers.
Biggie's
Pizza.
Yep. So we decided to try this because honestly, we saw them on Instagram, and I sent it to Rusty, and I was like, "This place looks so cool." And it is. It's super cute inside, and their food menu was, I mean, like it looked really.
Yeah, and you've heard good things about.
I've heard great things about the food. Yeah. But we got our coffees, like we always do.
Yeah.
I got cold brew with a splash of turmeric. Is it turmeric or turmeric?
I thought it was turmeric. So let's
right.
throw that in there.
I think that you're right, actually, and neither one of my options.
It wouldn't be common for me to be right with the word, but
my options was right. So that with honey.
Yeah.
And some almond milk.
Yeah.
So.
And I got just a regular old latte, just the regular old way, with no syrups, none of that, because I just like to taste how the machine kind of operates, see what machines they use. Also like to see how the barista kind of like steams the milk and those types of things, because that really could change the profile of a latte.
Yeah.
And then what we did find, I took my lid off of my cup that says "not bad," which was off of a review that they had, and so they're kind of making puns on that, which I think is fantastic. But we took my lid off to put some turbinado because they don't have a lot of like sugar substitutes, and the barista did actually do a design on the top of it, which like Kelsey would know, but I'm always a big fan of being intentional with the unintentional.
Absolutely.
And the fact that it's to go with the lid on it, you couldn't even see it, and they still did it. Is pretty impressive.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So
check out the area. Yeah. Check out Brew. It's on point.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so for market in a minute, just going to talk real quick today about, I keep getting a lot of like feedback from buyers about, well, one, had more buyers just come out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
Over, I'd say probably the last month, things have really increased.
Yeah.
And I think that's just simply a result of like people are just getting used to the interest rates. And it's kind of a good thing to get used to those interest rates because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball as much as we wish that we did.
Yeah.
And so getting used to the interest rates and getting used to the idea of like possibly refinancing in 6 months to a year, depending on what the interest rates do in the world, Yeah. So I've had a lot of people come in asking questions just about like price point, particularly in our area, because we had such a huge increase last year that everyone was aware of. We're between like a $60,000 to $70,000 average price reduction since that time, which is huge, which means that we're seeing that stabilization. So, your buying power it could be more than you think it is compared to what it was maybe in September or last fall or winter when you thought about buying. So definitely if you're, in the market for a new home or thinking about what that looks like for you, just ask questions and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And
all right, mortgages in a minute. So it's no surprise the Fed met on Wednesday, which is the 22nd of March. Today's the 24th. I don't know when we'll get to post this, but they did raise the rates again. Only did it 25 basis points, which is 0.25.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily, which I say every time, it doesn't necessarily correlate to these rates. They're more on short-term rates, which are like overnight rates of bank lending money to one another.
Yeah.
Everybody knows there's been 4 banks kind of collapse in the last week.
Yeah.
Government's trying to bail them out, so they're trying to figure out some things. What's going to come from that? I don't think we're going to see 2 more rate hikes that they had intended a month or 2 ago as they try to curb inflation.
Yeah.
But banks are getting more picky on loans that they approve.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're on the fence about getting a home or starting to look for a home, like do it sooner rather than later, because as they kind of tighten the belt on lending, the faster it will be harder for some people to get approved.
Yeah.
So make sure you're getting a true pre-approval.
Absolutely.
If you choose not to use me, make sure that your lender that you choose is doing a true pre-approval with like underwriting already performed, AUS results, which is the Fannie and Freddie system that all lenders should use, but make sure they're getting accept eligible on that. And so that way, make sure that you're not in a situation that you think you're pre-approved for a certain amount and you find a home and even a little bit less than that, and then it turns out not to be a case. And unfortunately, I'm dealing with that with another big bank. They did that to a client, and
I will say, in my experience in real estate, I've been in this a little while. Banks, and this is a little long-winded on our mortgage in a minute, but it's important. So I mean, I will say, like, I've had bad experiences with banks in general where they're just doing like more of a pre-qualification as opposed to a full true pre-approval and getting that underwriting accepted and understanding that, like, okay, this is truly what you're pre-approved for. And it hurts not only, the buyer in the transaction, who it ultimately affects the most, but it hurts the listing agent, it hurts the seller, it hurts the buyer's agent, it hurts everyone involved because you think that you're approved up here, and then it ends up being, $50,000 lower. And 50,000 is 50,000. So just it's definitely tough. Make sure you're working with someone who knows the importance of that true pre-approval.
And let's, not to knock in banks, but banks do loans well. Banks don't specialize in mortgages.
Correct.
Those are long-term loans, but they do well on like car loans, signature loans, things like that.
Yeah, home equity loans.
So by no means are we saying banks are bad, big banks are bad. That's not the case.
But they just don't specialize.
They just don't specialize, and when you don't specialize in something, it leaves a lot to be desired. So
absolutely.
Anyway, that's mortgage in a minute cubed.
So whatever.
We'll catch you next time.
Have a great day, everyone. As always, reach out with any questions. Bye.